Yeah, seems like we've gotten off to a pretty good start. 3 teams, so a lot of guys here, a lot of young guys, and just trying to get the timing back. Figure out teammates, get to know guys, and and go from there.
Speaking of young guys, Doug said that they wanted to find a guy for that third line center role that might be able to play with some of the younger wingers in the system. Is that your expectation going in? Is that you're gonna maybe rotate through some wingers until they find the right chemistry there?
Yeah, you'd have to ask him his plans. I know, in talks with him over free agency, I was really excited to come here and, get back to playing third line center, which I think I do really well, and for some reason in Minnesota just wasn't used in that role. So it's exciting for me, and like you said, we've got, and Doug stressed it over the summer, is the turnover he's had over the last year or two is in drafting and trading for and bringing along these really skilled young players who can make an impact. So for me, whoever I play with, we're going to have probably a lot of D-zone starts. We're going to play minutes against some pretty good players. So, be responsible in all three zones, and try to produce, but try to limit other guys too.
Building look a little different from when you were here.
The room's pretty similar, if I remember correctly, but there's probably a rink's been added over that time. Yes.
1 or 2, right?
Yeah. So it's been 14 years. It's interesting. You kind of see everyone over those years. Mike and Aldrich and guys who are kind of popping through the rinks, and I've seen Doug in the hallways. Every year he said hi. So always kind of kept in touch, but it feels right to be back. Feels good.
When we got joking yesterday, you guys talked about your draft here, there, and kind of talking about that. Not too many players left in that.
Oh, Cooch? Yeah, we were talking on the bench the other day. I know it seems like it flew by, and it is a pretty crazy number to think it was 14 years ago. But I still feel like I'm 18, except on my top of my head. So it has been a long time, but I feel good and excited to be back.
What's been the key for you, maybe just these last few years, just keeping up on things, getting younger and faster every year? What's been the key for you?
Yeah, I don't think my game has ever been like all-out speed. I don't think I've gotten any faster since I came in the league, but I don't think I've gotten any slower. I think, my legs aren't what make me an effective player. I think my brain and my habits and my hands and just thinking the game, trying to be in spots before I need to be. And you're right, the game has developed into a very, very quick game, and as long as I can move the puck quickly and be where I'm supposed to be in a relatively quick amount of time, then I think everything else takes care of itself.
Do you think take some of the load off Logan and Tim Moss in that respect, as far as more D-zone face-offs?
I think so. I think that was some of the conversations I had with Doug in the off season. Is I enjoy that. I like taking draws. I enjoy the responsibility of starting in the D zone, and for really skilled guys like Cooch and Hurdle that can start in the D zone, but maybe if they get 5 more O-zone draws in a game instead of 5 in the D zone, and frees them up to be a little bit more creative and get some more O-zone time, that can only help us.
Hey Nick, I'm Shane Payne with Channel V Hockey now.
Yep. Nice to meet you.
Going back to the conversation we had with Logan, the 07, you guys were only guys around. You don't let Logan up. Logan was wondering if anybody else was around. I looked it up. One guy is still playing, Justin Braun.
Yes, Braun. Yeah, he was the one guy Cooch did say. So, it's pretty good for a Sharks draft for 3 guys to be in the league 14 years later. So.
I wanted to ask you just in terms of what you've seen so far in these practices. Who are some of the guys that sort of stood out to you? You mentioned that your hockey smarts are kind of one to carry you over. Who have you noticed out there who kind of maybe exhibited some of those kind of same skills?
Yeah, I mean it's tough because I'm only seeing 1/3 of the guys here, but I hadn't played much or seen much of Rudy Balcers until I've gotten here, and he's very, very fast playing on his line, and He talks well, and LeBank's got a great shot, great release. So just getting to know those guys a little better because I'm playing with them. But it seems like there's a lot of depth. He put Cooch's line in one skate and Hurdle's in another. So in our skate, we have our line, we have Cogs on another line, we have Gams centering another line. So there's certainly depth in the organization here, and I think the skates have reflected that. They've been good.
And you might be best known for maybe your defensive side of your game, keeping guys are winning face-offs, that sort of thing. But Minnesota also used you on the power play and net front. Is that something that the coaches have taught you that maybe they'll use you in that capacity?
I spoke with Coach McLean just a little bit about it yesterday, but I'm happy to be known for solid defense, but I've been pretty consistent, putting up half a point a game for my career. I count on myself to produce regardless of my what line I'm on, who I'm playing with. I think we all expect a lot out of ourselves, so my goals every year are try to score 15 to 20 goals and hopefully more. Play every situation. I think I can be effective on the power play all the way back to when I was started with Anaheim. So I love to PK. Who doesn't love to play on the power play? But it's a responsibility when you're on a power play. They can win you and lose you games. They can directly affect where you sit in the standings. So I think being on the power play, you have to take pride in it. And it was Minnesota last year was on it for a bit, and we had some success for sure.
Finally, Doug brought you in. You talked about the locker room presence that you and Andrew and James would bring. So what are some of the positives that you missed with the Sharks locker room?
I think the word to use right there is positive. I think that's my mindset is you can ask guys I played with. I'm always smiling. I'm happy. I try to be as happy as I can regardless of personally how my season's going. Obviously it sucks to lose, but we're pretty fortunate to be doing this. I come to the rink every day, just work as hard as I can on the ice, try to sacrifice my body, lead by example there, and in the room just be there for guys, be happy, be optimistic, and hopefully that can filter in a bit.
I think it might be tough to out-smile Tommy Hurdle.
Yeah, he does seem pretty happy. I haven't been in the room with him a lot because we've had differing schedules, but every time I see him, his face seems to light up every time he says hi to a guy. So yeah, definitely a good guy.
We were just talking with Moss, and obviously he's in his contract year. How can a player, I guess, put that out of his mind and just play his game? I mean, obviously you've been through that.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of guys go through that process as well, as far as being a contract year, maybe after seeing certainty. You kind of put that aside and just play.
Yeah, it's not always easy because this is a guy's livelihood, but the guys that seem to have the most success are the guys that can kind of shelf it a bit. I don't see that being a problem for him from speaking with him, although briefly, and getting to know him. He wants to win, he wants to play as hard as he can, and that's all you can ask. So when those things seem to take care of themselves, he's an amazing player, one of the hardest guys in the league to take the puck off of. He's going to find success, he'll get his deal, but it definitely can be stressful. You can't discount that, but from what I've seen and heard about him, he's just going to show up and do his job, and we'll probably let that take care of itself.